Hello, this is Carrie Margaret from Love Notes, bringing more fun, enjoyment, and goodness into love, intimacy, sex, relationships, and just more yumminess into life in general. So today we're going to talk about why sex is one thing that will revolutionize your life, and in particular your health. So I was thinking about this thing the other day and about how we don't, as human beings, have a very clear idea about risk and what is actually risky and what's not risky. A perfect example of this is that people generally feel safe driving a car and feel really comfortable, and see that as not, an everyday kind of more low risk activity. And there are various people that are afraid to be on an airplane and kind of like feel on some level that is a higher risk activity. So this emotional response of feeling some in your body that driving in a car is safer than flying in an airplane actually has nothing to do with statistical reality. So, like, if we look at statistics in reality, that the top, one of the top reasons for death and mortality, so it's high risk, in the United States is unintentional accidents, and automobile accidents are like way up there on that list. So, and airplanes, your chances of dying in an airplane accident are very, very, very low. So what we feel in our body in terms of risky is actually, the opposite. It's a lot safer to fly in a plane than it is to drive in a car. Now, talking about intimacy and sex and even hugging and touch. It doesn't even have to go all the way into sex. People a lot of times in relationships will get kind of closed off and feel like it's safer at one point to touch less, to have less sex, to be together less as human beings, like to have less of that intimacy, because of a lot of times it can be like attachment stuff or childhood wounds or the busyness of everyday life, or parenting, or a million other different things that come in that then can cause in relationships for intimacy to sort of pull apart. And that is actually much riskier than having the kinds of conversations and taking the little steps just to repair more intimacy, more touch, and more sex in your relationship. It is much riskier for your health, for your actual health. The number one top mortality for people in the United States is heart disease. Number two is cancer. And both of those things are highly, highly correlated and well influenced by stress. And stress is kind of like this silent killer in our society. And one of the things that really brings the stress response down and actually changes our feeling of stress in our nervous system. So our nervous system, our bodies can tolerate more levels of stress and have greater amounts of well-being, is physical touch with our partner, and sex, and hugs, and snuggling, and even like hand holding. It's all the stuff, all the things there. Sex in particular is gonna release a lot of dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, really feel good chemicals that are gonna like bring down the stress levels and bring in more safety into the body. So what actually feels sometimes like more of a risk, to broach like intimacy, to reach out to our partner, it is like that initiating everything in terms of like intimacy, that is actually like decreasing our risks. What you get on the other side of that, is a lot more vitality and health. When we're, hugging our partners, when we're holding their hands, when we're touching, and we're having lots of really good consensual sex. And, when we're in the middle of stress, that can feel like a little bit of an overwhelm, but you can start with really soft and easy things. Start by holding hands, or a foot rub, with no more expectations, or a little massage, or, I actually got this idea in particular from Alison Armstrong, but this idea of dessert sex, that there's almost always something within the realm of sex, within the realm of sexual touch, that both partners could get into. It just like, even when you're full, you kind of always have room for dessert. It's like, what is the really yummy dessert that you always have room for? Well, people have like the really yummy sexual activity that like kind of might always have a little bit of space just for that. So it doesn't have to be full on like penetrative like intercourse. It can be like some yummy sensual play that a lot of times then leads into full out sex. So I just want to leave that with you today. Being brave and incorporating more of that sexual touch, all of that consensual, loving stuff in your life, to reduce reduce stress in your life and your overall health risks. So you can add that in with your diet and your exercise for some yummy ways to be healthy. So this is Carrie Margaret from Love Notes. If you're more interested in more tips, all different tips about how to reconnect more, I get into things about, moving through conflict and tougher things in life too, and little fun and sexy tips for connecting more. Please subscribe here, and you can learn more about me at carriemargaret.com. Love you and wishing you a blissful and happy day.